What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So, back for day 2 of my 7-round mock draft. If you haven't checked out the first round, go ahead and do that. Should be in a little iCard up above me, as well as my day 3. So, it's going to be the second, the third round here. Now, keep in mind these picks, they aren't strictly based on my rankings, but based on rumors, draft tendencies, team fits, even best player available. So it's a lot going into it. You're not gonna agree with everything. That's okay though. We all have our opinions. Just let me know yours in the comment section below. It's always fun talking it out. Just remember, be cool. Be cool. You don't have to be. I know you're already trying to be rude. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to prove you're big and strong. All right. But go ahead and become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. If you're worried about keeping track what player your team has chosen, my day 3 mock draft will have a list of like who they currently have drafted. So don't worry about that. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. I do have a draft party, a watch along coming out. It's gonna happen on the draft here on YouTube. So if you want to stick around for that, I mean, you don't have to stick around right now. You could show up later. Let's just get this started. We got the second round, and we're going to start with the Bengals. Lucas Nain out of TCU. Assuming they're going to move Jonah Williams to the left, I think the Bengals will probably take the top tackle if they miss on the top linebacker. Nain, very athletic, but he does need to refine a little bit of his hand technique and footwork. I mean, he's coming from TCU. They don't really, they don't do a good job of fundamentals. It's really the simplistics of the position is what they teach there. They just love grabbing athletes and throwing them on the field. But he's played exclusively on the right side there at TCU, so not a bad fit. Indianapolis Colts, they get their quarterback of the future, Jordan Love. I mean, he was a name they were talking about with the 13th pick back when the Colts still had it. So if he falls here, that's great news. It's the heir apparent to Phillip Rivers. The Detroit Lions, they're going with Jonathan Taylor. Patricia, he wants to pound the rock and carry on. He's had a tough time staying healthy, so they bring in a tough to bring down north-south runner. And I mean, honestly, that's solid. That's a scary running back core right there. The New York Giants, they're going Yatir Gross-Matos. The Giants, they are desperate for pass rush. They were so desperate they were almost willing to spend money on Clowney. Luckily, they didn't, because that would have been very expensive, and I think he's way overpriced. But they get Gross-Matos. He has high upside. Again, you see these elite pass rush traits, as that's kind of like what this edge rush class is. It's a bunch of guys with those elite pass rush traits, but they lack a lot of production. So it's kind of a wonky edge rush class. But again, you gotta like the upside. The Chargers, they went with 2 in the first round. They're getting a tackle, Ezra Cleveland. Now, the Chargers, they've done a great job addressing the offensive line, signing Beluga and trading for Turner. So drafting Cleveland, ideal fit. He's got quick feet. He's very sound technically. Carolina Panthers go Ross Blacklock out of TCU. They were among the worst run defense teams all of football. They lost Poe, they've lost McCoy, Love, Butler. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it could be for a few of them. But they would like a guy like Blacklock who has a lot of upside in terms of athleticism, pretty much can start anywhere on that line. The Dolphins, they're going with a running back, seeing that running backs are starting to fly off the board now. DeAndre Swift. Now, they added Jordan Howard, but he offers almost nothing in the pass game. Swift, it's a much more complete back, not that explosive, but he's a very complete back. He can get the job done in the receiving aspect of the offense. So I like the combo of Howard and Sanders. So we got, I say Sanders, I meant Swift. Man, I'm going back to my Philly days. It was all of a year ago. Houston Texans, they're going Marlon Davidson. I assume the Texans, they feel pretty good on offense right now. They've addressed that kind of a ton, kind of sort of. It's weird what Bill O'Brien's done, but I think they need to address the front seven. So they go and they get a very unique pass rusher, kind of, sort of, in Davidson. He put on the weight to cope playing the interior, so I like him as a 3-4 end. So he'll be able to help that secondary. Like, that's what you want to do. You don't want those guys, you don't want your corners covering for like 5 to 10 seconds. So they need to address the pass rush. They get that here. Cleveland Browns, they go on Julian Akawara out of Notre Dame. Stefanski, he likes the super athletic speed rushers. And personally, I'd like to see Okawara as a stand-up rusher, but again, he's got enough raw strength to actually rush with his hand in the dirt. The Jaguars, they're going AJ Terrell out of Clemson. They need to replenish their secondary, and they were very successful in man coverage last year, but they often opt to play zone. The good thing about Terrell, he's good at both. He's lengthy, speedy. Gotta love it. Bears, they go Jeff Gladney out of TCU. They released our boy Prince, and they need someone opposite of Fuller, because if they roll with Artie Burns, it's just going to get ugly. Colts back on the board. They're going Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC. Now, they tried to get a big body receiver last year in Devin Funches. Didn't work out. The guy got hurt. Is what it is. But Pittman, he's one of the best contested catch receivers in this draft at 6'4", 223. Gotta love it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go Laviska Shenault Jr. out of Colorado. This is one of my favorites. Now, this feels more like a luxury pick, though, for the Bucs. But in Arian's system, they value currently what Shenault is really good at. And he's good on the screen, and he's good at vertical routes. So because of the presence of Godwin and Evans, I mean, I think that gives Shenault time to develop a pure route tree. But you could use him right off the bat, because he's just a banger in those other areas, being screens and verts. Denver Broncos, they're going Jalen Reagor. We got a receiver run going on right now. But Jalen Reagor's stock might have taken a plunge because of an unproductive season. Could have been a slow 40. Still, I like how people who like Jordan Love will blame his down 2019 on his supporting cast, but Reagor, he doesn't get that same treatment. I mean, the quarterback couldn't get the ball to him, and it's whatever. Yeah, I love Jalen Reagor personally, but yeah, they get a banger here. They get a speedster to stretch the field, and they got Sutton there too, because man, he is massive. So that's scary, and they got a lot of picks, so they don't have to be done addressing receiver just yet. Atlanta Falcons go with Curtis Weaver. Now, few names I've seen the Falcons express interest in the second round. Been to be expected, but this was the most interesting one that I was like, wow, they've actually, went out and talked to the guy. It just intrigued me. I didn't think they would be interested in Weaver. Typically, they they favor super athletic guys on the line over production. And again, Weaver, he's maybe not the most athletic, but besides Chase Young, there wasn't anyone as productive at rushing the passer than Weaver. And I mean, honestly, you could probably take McKinley and move him like in that Vic Beasley role, kind of what they used with them, because that worked. So maybe. And then the Jets, this might be an odd one, but I love Joshua Uche, but you could have went corner here, could have went offensive line, but like I said, I don't think they'll try to address that too early, since they did it so well in the free agency. But if you look at it, Greg Williams, he went out and he tried to get Anthony Barr, who was kind of in a similar mold, or at least he was developed into a similar mold as what Josh Uche can be. So I think he would be a scheme fit if that's the guy. If that's someone that Williams was looking for, then okay, I'm all for it. And then he should, in theory, love Uche. I love Uche. So Uche provides a lot of versatility too. He's not just a pass rusher. He can drop into coverage. He can blitz on the inside. He can do a lot of things you want him to do. Pittsburgh Steelers, they go J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. They don't have many holes on the roster, and there's a few options that they could wait till later if they really want to, because they really need to replace the zero tech with Hargrave now in Philly. But because there's no one with true experience on that roster, at least starting experience, that really played zero tech. Even McCullers, he only started 3 games, so Just saying. But they opt to go with Dobbins. And if you're not new to the channel, you know how I feel about that. But you know what? Steelers fans really want this pick, so I'm going to give it to them. That, and good point, their running back core kind of gets hurt a lot. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, he's a great fit for their offense regardless. And then the Chicago Bears. We're going to get Brandon Ayuk. I mean, this is a steal here. They need weapons. Anthony Miller's probably going to remain in the slot. So Ayuk, he has game-breaking potential, and he would be welcomed on the outside there. That just becomes a very good-looking receiving core after that. And then Dallas Cowboys, they get Justin Matabuki. There we go. At Texas A&M. I know they added Poe. I know they added McCoy. None of those guys are really long-term options. I know McCoy signed a 3-year deal, but he isn't a 3-down player anymore. So Matabuki, he's more like what Marinelli. He's more what he looks for in like a B-gap penetrator. So, and that's what Matabuke kind of wants to do. I mean, he said he wanted to be a 3-tech only. I mean, you're in the vicinity, so. Los Angeles Rams, they get Willie Gay Jr. I love Willie Gay. He might fall from here. I don't think so. I think he's going to be in the second round. He's been gaining a lot of momentum since the combine. And the Rams, they tried to bring back everybody. They couldn't bring back Littleton, but Gary, he has ridiculous speed, and I think he would immediately, not necessarily fill that hole, but help ease that hole that they're going to lose in pass coverage there in the middle with Littleton's departure. Philadelphia Eagles, they're going Kyle Duggar out of Lenore Ryan. Man, Philly, they made some significant strides to fix the secondary. Adding Duggar gives them an athletic freak who I think truly can replace the loss of Malcolm Jenkins. Buffalo Bills, they go Hunter Bryant out of Washington. I like Dawson Knox, don't get me wrong, last season, but he, as a receiver, he also had 9 drops on the season. Adding Bryant kind of gives this offense and Josh Allen just more options, especially after that Stephon Diggs trade. So just give them Bam more weapons. Ravens, they're going Chase Claypool. I really like this one a lot because I'm still kind of in that camp where I think he should be a tight end. I mean, he's got the size for it, but I don't know, man. Well, it'll be interesting to see what teams use him as, but I mean, he can help ease the burden of Hayden Hurst. I mean, you get rid of one athletic tight end and you replace him with someone way more athletic. And then the Miami Dolphins, they're going Noah Igbinoghene out of Auburn. The secondary was pretty bad last year, but they did a good first step with Byron Jones. Then we added Grant Delpit. They've made some good moves for the secondary, but still, I think you can't ignore the value for Noah here. He has a ton of physical upside, and he could eventually be a quality press corner for this defense. Los Angeles Rams, they're going Donovan Peoples-Jones, the wide receiver from Michigan. I really think he's going to sneak his way into day 2 some way, somehow. I don't know why, but I just think it'll happen. Well, I do know why. That's kind of what the rumors say. I have a 4th round grade on him, but you know what? He could slip into this area. You know what? He would kind of be a good fit for the Rams. He has the speed to win downfield on posts and goes, and he offers more size than they had with Cooks. Minnesota Vikings get Ben Barch out of St. John's. The Vikings, they want to move. I imagine they want to move from Riley Reif's contract, but they do need someone to step in and replace that. Barch, he can do that. He got a lot of hype after the Senior Bowl, so expect him in day 2 as well. Seattle Seahawks, KJ Hamler out of Penn State. Man, they just continue to get more playmakers at receiver. I love it. Hamler, he's a threat anytime he touches the ball. And Russell Wilson, I imagine, will get him the ball. Baltimore Ravens go Damian Lewis, the guard, out of LSU. I mean, no secret. Marshall Yanda, he's gone. He retired. So they need to really address that guard position. The run game's a big part of how the Ravens offense just runs in general. And he's one of the strongest offensive linemen in this whole draft. Tennessee Titans, they go with Neville Gallimore out of Oklahoma. He has the versatility to play all along the interior. and he can be eventual replacement for Daquan Jones at nose, since he's kind of entering his last year of his deal. And, you know, they just got rid of Casey, so I think solid fit. Green Bay Packers go Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. The Packers, they chose to move on, or at least they didn't manage to re-sign Bulaga, but I mean, I think they got a good replacement in Rick Wagner, but they should look towards the future of that position because he didn't have a great tenure there with the Lions. So they use a lot of play action, and that's a great fit for Isaiah Wilson. Kansas City Chiefs, they go Jordan Elliott, my most slept on player in this draft. I love him. Chris Jones, he's yet to sign a long-term deal. Elliott, like I said, first round pick to me. He'll probably fall, be in this kind of like late second to early third round area. And you know what? Even if they keep Jones, he's great value regardless. Even if he's not a replacement, but if you're sticking him right next to him, that's scary on the interior. Jordan Elliott and Chris Jones, just saying. Seattle Seahawks, they go Bryce Hall out of Virginia. Hall's just a perfect scheme fit. I really like him for Seattle's defense. Even with the addition of Dunbar, he's only got 1 year left on his deal though. Depth at corner is something that is very valuable in the NFL, so doesn't hurt here. On to the third round. We're going to start with the Bengals getting Troy Dye. He would be a good fit for the Bengals, and he could start as a sub-package linebacker. Washington Redskins, they don't go offensive tackle here because a lot of them kind of already went off the board, so I went with Cole Kmet because I think I would love to go tackle. I wouldn't mind going corner here either, but I don't know. They could try Cornelius Lucas on the left side, but if that's the case, then get a good inline blocking linebacker, and Kmet is that. So you kind of like, even if Lucas struggles a little bit, you got at least someone blocking on the left side occasionally, right? Maybe. And you know what? He's got better receiving skills than Jeremy Sprinkle anyway, so you know what? I like the pick here. Jonah Jackson going to the Lions. They let Glasgow's gone, so Jackson he's kind of ideal for a zone heavy blocking scheme. So with Taylor now, Jackson would, I think Patricia would just love it. He's like, yay, I could finally establish the run. So Jackson, good pick here. New York Jets, they're going Troy Pride Jr. I mean, this one was really tough between Troy Pride Jr. and Darnay Holmes. I kind of have them very close to one another. Honestly, either pick is great here for the Jets and great for Greg Williams' coverage scheme. Carolina Panthers, they go Natane Moody out of Fresno State. They lost Turner to what I deem a very bad trade. So it's going to be a big loss. Moody, he could have been a first rounder if not for the consecutive season-ended injuries. I love his ability to be a mauler there on the offensive line, so they grab a replacement for Turner. Miami Dolphins go Matt Pert out of UConn. Bill Belichick showed interest in Pert at the combine, so if Bill is interested in Pert, best believe Flores and the offensive line needy Dolphins are interested in Pert. I'm just saying, it just makes sense. So they double up at tackle here in the first two rounds. Los Angeles Chargers, they're going Akeem Davis Gaither. I love this pick. I think this would be nice versatility in their linebacker position that they've really have not had in the recent years. And then the Arizona Cardinals go Cameron Dantzler out of Mississippi State. I anticipate Dantzler to fall, but I don't think he'll fall. I don't think he'll fall further than this. I mean, really, the Cardinals, they get a steal here in the draft. And this guy, he shut down the SEC for 3 years. He's good. Someone would be concerned about his speed. The kid can play. Hands down, the kid can play. And we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going Daryl Taylor out of Tennessee. Yannick, he might be a draft day trade, so be on the look for that. Either way, I don't think he doesn't want to be there, so he's probably not going to be there. So they grabbed Taylor, who he's got a really nice bull rush, and he was a couple of years ago touted to be a future first round pick, so good value here. Cleveland Browns go Ashton Davis out of California. They need a safety with some range, and boy, Davis, he got range for days, and he'd be a nice compliment to Carl Joseph there. Indianapolis Colts, they go Antoine Winfield Jr. So Colts, they typically just draft best value, and Winfield, he might slip a little bit because season-ending injuries he had in 2017 and 2018. But you gotta love his ability to play in the box or play deep. And then I got the Buccaneers. They're going. This is kind of an obvious pick for everybody, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Basically, Brady gets his James White. So there's that. The Denver Broncos, they go Darnay Holmes out of UCLA. He could honestly, they need to address the secondary. Yadam or whatever. He's just consider him a failed project at this point. He doesn't play that great for a number 2. And AJ Boye is going to be needs a number 2. I think Darnay Holmes could come in and immediately fill that role. He would be good in press, whether it's zone or man. And in this case, it'll be zone. Atlanta Falcons, they get Jake Fromm out of Georgia. I mean, Fromm, he has to go somewhere that I'll probably piss some fan off with. So I have him going to the Falcons. Basically, you get a system backup quarterback for your system quarterback. Jokes. It's jokes. But they get Jake Fromm. Matt Schwab is done. He's done. The New York Jets, they're going to go ahead and get Terrell Lewis out of Alabama. So you maybe think they already kind of drafted a pass rusher, but Uchi, he's way more versatile in what he can do, while Lewis has the more size to be a very successful edge rusher. Either way, I think you double down on this and you just kind of double the chances of the Jets getting a solid pass rusher, one way or the other. And then the Raiders, they go Logan Steinberg out of Kentucky. Basically, this guy reminds me, as far as his playing style, reminds me a lot of Richie Incognito. And he'll be at 37 by the time the season starts, so you should probably start grooming a replacement for him. And then with the Raiders' other pick, they go Damon Arnett. I don't know why, but it seems like he's fallen down a few boards. I have, or at least it's when it comes to analysts, and I couldn't find a reason why. I don't know, maybe they're not in love with him. I don't know, but either way, Arnett, he's a good pick. They already addressed it with Christian Fulton, but again, cornerback depth is keen in the NFL, and the guy only allowed a completion percentage of 44.6 last season. So Dallas Cowboys get Devin Duvernay out of Texas. Basically, they lost Cobb in the slot. Duvernay is much more explosive than Cobb. And I mean, the guy, he can torch defenders downfield. He can do it off a screen. He's got some of the best hands in this draft. He's just fast. He can take it to the house any play. And then the Denver Broncos get Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin. This pick, I want it to be so bad because I saw a depth chart say that they're going to put Glasgow at center, and that's a big mistake. He needs to go to a right guard. He had a career year last season for the Lions at right guard. Just draft another center so you can put Glasgow where he played the best. Saying. That's how I feel about it. And then the Los Angeles Rams, they're going to Nick Harris out of Washington. Basically, the offensive line was pretty bad. You could say, oh, they're building and they're bringing back a lot of pieces. I don't know. Bringing competition, because the line wasn't good last year. And then Nick Harris, you know what? He may be a bit undersized, but he has really good athleticism for McVay's blocking scheme. Detroit Lions go Jacob Eason out of Washington. Lions get a quarterback that can develop behind Stafford. Eason, he's got elite arm talent. Just got to work on some things with him. And then the Buffalo Bills go Bradley Anae out of Utah. The Bills, they have no real glaring holes, so just maybe infusing some youth, some young talent there at the edge wouldn't be a bad option. I mean, on Bradley here, the dude may have some of the best hand usage among all the edge talents. And then the New England Patriots go Adam Troutman out of Dayton. This just kind of seems obvious. They need a tight end that can be a weapon. They need a weapon at tight end. And Troutman, he had 14 touchdown catches last season. The New Orleans Saints, they go Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota, man. The Saints, they did a good job grabbing Emmanuel Sanders. He's going to be doing a good job stretching the field. Still, the Saints, they could grab another. They need more weapons than just Thomas and Sanders, and I think Johnson is just a steal at this point. You can play on the outside. You can play in the slot. He's a fluid route runner. He was in the top 10 for yards per route last season. He's just a good receiver. And then the Minnesota Vikings get Kevon Wallace out of Clemson. Basically, Wallace has the size that the Vikings like, and he could be an instant starter there in the slot. Basically, you're replacing Mackenzie Alexander. You're replacing one Clemson player for another. Houston Texans go Trevis Gibson out of Tulsa. He needs a little time to develop, just a little bit, but just kind of, he has really good pass rush ability. He just doesn't know pass rush moves. He was told almost exclusively to be kind of a run defender there at Tulsa, but the guy's got length. He's got athleticism. He's got big upside. You just got to teach him. So I think he's going to be a steal here in the 3rd round. And then the Raiders, they go Jalen Hurts. Oh, the quarterback at Oklahoma. You might be like, but they have Marcus Mariota and David Carr. But I mean, in all likelihood, I think first off, Hurts, he's going to find a home somewhere on day 2. I don't have him that high on my rankings, but it just sounds like it. And then second of all, Carr and Mariota, they're kind of on their last chances here. So I don't think it'd be a surprise if the Raiders try to grab someone in the draft, just in case Carr and Mariota don't deliver. Baltimore Ravens get Jeremy Chin out of Southern Illinois. He's an athletic freak, and like I said earlier, or at least, did I say that earlier? No, I said it in my other video, in my the 1st round video. They just utilize their safeties way more than their linebackers. And you know what? Chin, he kind of has the physicality to play linebacker anyway, so he can play in the box. Tennessee Titans go Terrell Burgess out of Utah. With the loss of Logan Ryan in the slot, they definitely need to snag someone maybe like Burgess, whose man skills are kind of perfect for Vrabel's system. I know they have Amani Hooker, but it gives them depth at that nickel position, or it gives them depth in nickel and dime packages and versatility, because both those guys can play safety as well. The Green Bay Packers get AJ Hill out of Ohio State. Hill just gives the Packers a sure-handed receiver who can play on the outside and on the inside. And then the Denver Broncos, they grab Van Jefferson out of Florida. They just keep adding to the receiving core because they don't have much of a receiving core. But now you add Jefferson, you add Jalen Reagor. And I mean, Jefferson, he can immediately help on special teams, and he's going to be a chain mover. He's really good on the short to intermediate routes. Kansas City Chiefs get Davion Taylor out of Colorado. They just need linebacking help. They need more athleticism from their linebacking core. And you know what? Taylor, he's a stellar athlete. He's like a homing missile in coverage and against the run. And then the Cleveland Browns, they go Robert Hunt out of Louisiana. I like this a lot. They can upgrade from Wyatt Teller at guard, and I bet you Stefanski's going to love Hunt. This guy, he's a strong boy. He's a strong boy. The New England Patriots, they go Anthony Jennings out of Alabama. Basically, Jennings feels like a Belichick-like project. And I mean, he could maybe be a eventual replacement for Dante Hightower. The New York Giants, they go Lloyd Cushenberry out of LSU. I mean, the Giants, they got nothing out of their center last year. So, at least with Cushenberry, you'll probably be able to establish a run game. Seattle Seahawks go Raekwon Davis out of Alabama. Basically, the Seahawks, they like a deep rotation at the interior, and currently they only have Reed and Ford. So Davis gives them a real elite run defender. Pittsburgh Steelers go Anthony Gordon out of Washington State. I mean, okay, let's be honest. Regardless how you feel about Anthony Gordon, if Big Ben goes down, what are they going to do? Are you going to tell me Anthony Gordon isn't better than Rudolph or Duck Hodges? You're wrong. He is. And then we got the Eagles. They're going Malik Harrison out of Ohio State. The weakest position currently on the Eagles is probably linebacker. Harrison, he can go toe-to-toe with linemen, and he'd be a basically a nice addition when you have to face Zeke and Saquon twice a year. And then the Rams, they're getting Cam Akers out of Florida State. I love this. I know they grabbed Darrell Henderson last draft, but he didn't really shine too much last season. And Akers is kind of ideal for this outside blocking, this outside zone blocking scheme. And I mean, you want more options. You're moving on from Todd Gurley, so you want more options than just your third round running back. I think they grabbed him in the third round. I don't know off the top of my head though. And we're going to go with the Minnesota Vikings now. They're going John Hightower out of Boise State. So they grabbed T. Higgins, but like I said, he doesn't really have the speed of Stephon Diggs. Hightower, he can replicate that. He can stretch the field vertically. He's pretty good at the contested catch as well. Baltimore Ravens, they finally get their linebacker. They get Jordan Brooks out of Texas Tech. Brooks, he's like a train coming downhill, and he should be actually a pretty good replacement for Josh Bynes, at least in terms of production. But that's it for the video. Go ahead to the YouTube thing. Always much appreciated, much obliged. Voice is going out, so hopefully I can record this day 3-1 without it going on me. So, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.